Yes, we are. We are back again. Another segment of Cooking with CFN, I should say, Cooking with Cameron and CFN. And I'll tell you, based on what I have seen so far from the YouTube, the little snippet that we shared, and of course, what Cameron's potential, or I should say, untapped potential. I know he knows what his limits are. We don't. That's the beautiful part coming here every Thursday to tune into this because you're going to sit back and it's shock and awe. You'll be just like me. How did he do that? And how did he make it look so darn easy? And why can't I live a little bit closer to Cameron? With all that being said, hello to everyone who's watching. Hello to everyone who is going to be watching this later. Perhaps maybe you're getting ready or getting your bowls and all your mixing spoons ready. Again, it doesn't look like a very difficult recipe the way Cameron puts it together. I know it looks so easy. I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. But needless to say, Cameron is going to help guide us, and hopefully become like that much the cook that he is. How's that? How's that sound? Steve, how you doing, my friend? Tony's in the house. Terry Snyder. Manny, how you doing, buddy? I know the Sauce Queen will be watching this as well as you, but it's nice to have all of you with us. If you're heading down to the Sportsman Show, I will give you a little bit of a snippet. It was great to see some of the folks today. I ended up getting my wonderful bracelet that I forgot downstairs. I wanted to show it on live. Anyway, Steph, I want to wish, if you guys can help me, Stephanie Barnews, Jay, who comes on here every Monday with us on CFN Live. Stephanie wanted me to come down to the show and receive a beautiful bracelet from CFN, and I can't believe I left it downstairs. Steph, I am so sorry, but if we can make it up to her, wish her a happy birthday. Please, if you guys could throw it in the comments, that'd be fantastic. Happy birthday to Steph. She is 13 years old. She is a bundle of joy, and she has some CFN bracelets for us. She's going to be doing this full time, so I'm so thrilled that I was one of the first in our fishing community to receive one. I will make sure I do a nice picture for her. I know her dad took a great picture, but needless to say, it was great to see all the folks down there. Lisa Tadgell's down there, Lee from Shimano, Kyle Carruthers, who's getting ready for CanCast. There's a whole bunch. Rob Henry was there. We saw Ben, Winnie, Deb was there, Paul Baltovich. Anyway, if you're heading down, be prepared. The crowds were it was packed today, and it's a Thursday. Not often it's usually that packed on a Thursday, and all of the folks that were down there will say exactly the same. It was crazy busy for a Thursday. Anyway, so if you are not living in the Toronto area, I wish you guys a great weekend, but this is a great start, and I am absolutely honored to have this gentleman join us as we do every Thursday, Cooking with Cameron and CFN, the one and only Cameron Tait. How you doing, sir?
Good. Well, hang on. Not every Thursday.
I
we
tried.
haven't done this in quite some time.
I tried.
Pump the brakes. But you know what? Truly, I miss doing this. It's got to be pre-Christmas. I don't know when the last time we did. I was trying to think today. The last dish that I did, and when I was on last, so
it was walleye Rockefeller, and I believe it was just before Christmas.
Yeah, man, what a how should I say it? A different approach that people have taken with that dish. I'm super excited to see different seafood Rockefeller and different kinds of fish, and people are being creative. I love seeing that, and I'm kind of proud that that dish exploded, and it is by far my most popular dish that I did. And honest to God, we talked about it before. I was thinking about Outdoor Canada and what am I going to do? Perch, walleye. Okay, yeah, I need to do a walleye, and I'm thinking about things that I've done in the past, and I'm like. And I saw a picture of an oyster, and I was like, oyster. Okay. Oh, I didn't used to do oyster Rockefeller. Boom. That was it. I created the dish, and because everything marries so well together, and it's a big hit. I got to show this.
Wow.
So I'm super proud. I took a picture of this the other day, or a couple of weeks ago. I was out trout fishing actually for this trout that we caught.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I'm super proud to wear that. I can't thank you enough for sending that. And yeah, I'm even more of a proud CFN family member. So,
well, I'll tell you this, Cameron, on behalf of CFN, Clifford Hentz from One Last Cast, who helped make this all happen. We can't thank you enough, dude. As I said, as busy as you are, as busy as your schedule is, the fact that you know, I know you can't come here every Thursday, even though we'd love you to. The fact that you still are able to come around and do what you do and what you do best. And you've shared it with some pretty influential people in our industry. And the fact that you still take the time to say hello, be a part of our community, and do what you're going to do tonight, buddy, we can't thank you enough. So on that note, again, I know everybody's either hungry, waiting to start mix some stuff. Cameron it's actually interesting how we're going to do tonight, because it's not just going to be Cameron cooking, but we're also going to share a variation that is in Outdoor Canada. And of course, we gave you a little bit of snippet with the preview, which is of course on the ice with the one and only Gord Pizer. So tonight is a fantastic show. So grab a seat, grab a drink, and take a load off for the next half hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah. So just really quick, the one dish that I did for Outdoor Canada, I did something similar. That was an in-fisherman shoot that we did about 7 years ago. And someone called me a baby face, and it's only been 7 years. You know, I don't think I've aged that much, but it was a great time. That was the only time, actually, that In-Fisherman ever did a cooking segment on their show. And
I had it written down because I was going to say, watching In-Fisherman, and I know Jim has watched it longer, and I know Big Jim's probably watching tonight. I don't believe I've ever seen a cooking special on one of their shows. So congratulations, dude.
Yeah.
You are the
and we can talk about it a little bit more when like after. I don't want to hold things up too much here, but so there's I just started making stuff, and I'm like, well, I could do the Outdoor Canada one, the Mango Caribbean one, but then they can have that recipe that they can see. Thanks, Steve. And then I was like, I just started making more and more dishes. So I think I've got time to quickly make 3 variations of a trout, plus the one that you'll see on In-Fisherman, the video shortly, plus the one that you saw for Outdoor Canada. And there's actually another trout recipe that I released. It was last month in In-Fisherman, and paired up. Gord wrote the article, and then I did the. It was a coconut, ironically, a coconut mango trout for a fishing trip last summer. So,
wow, unreal. Well, we are lucky. We got everything here with us. And as I said, I know you've got a great camera view for us that's going to show us all the ingredients and how we're going to be putting together. So the best thing I can do right now is just step back and let you do your thing.
Did you want to roll the video now?
We could roll the video. We could roll it after as the variation. What we could probably do right now, just so people can see what it is that you're doing, which is the article in Outdoor Canada. This is the article here. Of course, if you have an interest, please, by all means. It was published back in 2017. Ice Fishing Feast. It's Caribbean trout, and that is just mouth-watering. Absolutely mouth-watering.
Yeah. So you know what? Really, really quick story. I made this dish very, very close to what we did for In-Fisherman, and so I went to Kenora. I don't know if I've told you this one. And so I dropped off. No, I went to Gord's place first. I dropped off some stuff, and he said, "What are you making tomorrow?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm not too sure. I just brought some stuff." And he's like, "You don't know what you're cooking?" I said, "No, I'm gonna go to Safeway and I'm gonna find some stuff." And that's kind of my thing, as a chef. So I found these jalapeno plantain chips. I never saw them before, and it's actually hard to get them. I couldn't find them this year. I'm like, that bag inspired me to do, a certain dish on the ice. And so I think we did, 3 dishes, but that dish, I came back and I said, hey, look at this, jalapeno plantain chips. So I've modified it. So I've got banana chips, and we've got some jalapenos that we can use. Very, very similar, but that one was inspired to me just by what I found in Safeway that night.
That's awesome. So if you are at home, because what you do say in the video when you're out in the ice with Gord is it's great to prep or pre-prep before you do get on the ice, so that it's fairly straightforward and easy, that, all you're basically doing is seasoning your fish once it's caught. But to the prep part just makes things so much easier. And with it being only a 2.5-minute video, again, I know there's a little bit of editing involved, but still, you make everything look so darn easy.
Mise en place, what the French say, everything in its place.
There you go.
And every chef knows that, and a lot of hobby cooks know. And when I got on the ice, I had everything in a cooler, smaller cooler, but everything was in Ziploc bags, diced, crushed, chopped, whatever. And it was and Ziploc bags are really key on the ice. You take this and just dump, fillet, put that in. I use evaporated milk and the chips, the plantain chips, and then a light shallow fry. And but it's all about prep. So if you see on camera too here, I've got all of my ingredients, everything ready. So again, should be 3 different dishes if I stop talking. So
right on. Let her rip.
Do you want to see let's do the video now. Is that possible?
Yeah, absolutely. Just give me 1 second.
And I'm going to move some of this out of the way while you're talking.
All right. So this, as Cameron just mentioned, is the video that was the teaser. Again, with the illustrious Gord Pizer out on the ice. And needless to say, it was a very simple dish. At least it seemed very simple, but looked absolutely delicious. And you guys are dressed for an Arctic adventure. I can imagine it was a little chilly, but man, you warmed the stomach and gave us some good soul food with this video. So let's play it now.
Lake trout, and this is going to be a treat.
Nice.
Okay, here we are in northwestern Ontario, and we just caught this beautiful lake trout, and a good friend Gord Pizer, he's getting a shore lunch ready for us. Okay, the easiest thing that you can do is a little bit of prep beforehand before you come out to do a shore lunch. This is all about convenience, and look at we're out on the ice and we're doing some cooking. So I really like to use like evaporated milk. This way you don't have to worry about milk or eggs or anything else. We're going to take the belly part of this one here, and we're just going to season this one here. This is a sriracha seasoning, and I love things that are nice and spicy and flavorful. So now we're going to just take our little chunks here. We're going to put it into our evaporated milk, and these Ziploc bags are so handy, when you're doing something like this. And I'm going to seal it up. I'm just going to let it sit in there for a few minutes. And then we've already got our dry rub seasoning all ready to go. And look at this. Look how simple this is. So last night what I did is I've got these little tricolored baby potatoes, and they're fully cooked. So all you have to do basically is just heat them up in the pan, get some caramelization, some flavor going. There we go. That won't take very much time at all. We've had this sitting in the seasoned condensed milk for a little bit. So we're going to put it in here. I've got these spicy crackers that I broke up, and I put some flour and some cornstarch and the salmon seasoning in here. And I've got my oil heating in the cast iron pan there as well. You want to get it really nice and hot. The way I check it, I just take a little bit of water, or in this case, with a little bit of snow. When it splatters like that, we're all ready to go.
Who's hungry?
So
Can you hear me,
oil
Scotty?
pretty hot, because you've got some cold fish that's going in here, and you don't want the oil to get so cold that it's going to just soak up the oil and be really greasy. We want this to be crisp. Nothing better than this campfire shore lunch. Okay, here we are. It's all ready to be served. Wow.
Hey, Scotty, can you pause it there for a second?
Amazing camera.
Yeah, the trick is, if you have a little bit of
Okay.
So if you take a look at what the food is on, it's actually, I made an ice table. And when the ice had frozen and then there was, I guess, a good wind, and it blew all that like 3-inch ice up on shore, and we didn't have a table. And if you take a look at those lovely tinfoil containers, I forgot the paper plates. And so I gathered up these great big sheets of ice, and then I stacked them up, sort of like a table. And then I made these fancy little folded tinfoil plates, it ticked me off. The food was so good, and here we are serving it on a block of ice and some tinfoil. But
hey, listen, am I the only one to be? This just adds to the appeal.
You know what? It turned out really great, and the funny thing is when I was putting that in the milk, the condensed milk, it was already starting to freeze because it was cold out, and so it was. It actually turned out quite good that the batter wasn't freezing on the fish. But yeah, you can finish the rest there.
That's interesting. Thanks for the background. We would never have known. And had you not pointed that out with the tinfoil plates, I would have just thought this was all part of the magic.
Looks good though, eh?
The crispiness is amazing, Cameron.
Yeah, the trick is, if you have a little bit of flour and cornstarch mix in with some crackers, and then that gives it a really nice crispy coating.
And there's no absorption of the oil at all.
No, it's a nice hot pan and a skillet. A cast iron skillet like this one here is perfect for doing that.
We can go lake trout fishing more often if you want to.
So I'm hired?
I love that. So I'm hired? That's awesome.
So, and you know what? The great thing is it's a simple, recipe, but you see in the recipe I added flour and cornstarch. So that, in with any kind of a breadcrumb like that, it's called a gelatinization, of starches. So when you have a starch that is actually touching a fish, what happens, and I wrote about it in Fisherman last year, the starch will actually absorb the excess moisture from the fish, and it sort of it coats it, and it congeals, and so it's really, really important, because if you don't have a flour next to, say, a breading, that if you're deep frying it, the moisture will start to come to 170, 180 degrees, and it's actually going to start pushing the moisture out. And I think that we've all done that, on a batter. It actually lifts the batter off of the protein. So the starch and the cornstarch is a very key component to keep everything sort of intact.
It's great a great point that you bring up, because I do notice later on in the night as we're doing our fish fry up at Horwood, that's exactly what happens. Of course, that you get a more gelatin type texture with your fish. The longer you keep it in the Ziploc or in the coating, you're 100% right. And the key, you try to get as much of the water off, but it's not bad to have that little skim coat. As you said, it adds a little bit of texture, a little bit more crunch. But if you leave it in too long, exactly as you said. So I'm glad. So just add like a couple tablespoons of cornstarch or maybe some flour to combat that. Interesting.
That's when you're doing sort of like a flour, egg wash, and a breadcrumb. Yep. If you're deep frying it, we're not going to deep fry tonight, so you don't need that.
Okay.
But it is absolutely crucial. And the article, I just remembered that it was called "Breaking Down Breadings." And it came out last summer in Fisherman, and it sort of goes into the science a little bit as to why things work and how things, different kinds of. You can have a top coating, you can have a deep fry, you can have it baked, you can have a simple potato chip crust or whatever. But it was just sort of breaking down why different coatings or batters, why they work.
And if I'm not mistaken, that was the article that you attempted to try and get the outdoor flavors in, if I'm not mistaken.
breaking down batters, breaking down breadings. There's breaking down breadings, and then there was the other article.
Okay.
It was a separate article.
Okay.
It was shoot, I can't remember what it was, but and the funny thing is I wrote this great intro, and about my mom and how she used to make fish, and how I used to eat fish sticks, and that's all I ever used to know, and it was such a great intro to the story, and that got cut. And then there was another thing about the outdoor flavors that got cut.
Wow.
So,
yeah, and I've often wondered too, Cam. I'm glad you pointed that out. Was it more your mom, or was it more your dad that you got that love for cooking?
neither.
Well, let's just say it was Madison then. Hey, Maddie, how you doing? Maddie's in the house.
And really quick, we're going to wish Maddie a happy birthday tomorrow, our St. Patrick's Day baby.
No way.
I can't believe she's going to be 24 tomorrow. It's crazy.
Now, I mean, Madison, I've always seen she's had red hair. Is that like by design, or was that just...
Oh, I think that's all lighting. I think that's mirrors and lighting.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Because now that you mentioned that, I'm thinking, what are the chances that a Tait was born on St. Patrick's Day and came out with red hair? Ironic?
No,
I think not.
Yeah, she's brunette, and sometimes she, colors it, but not as of late. But it's, yeah, she's brunette.
Right on. Well,
okay.
Happy birthday, Maddie.
Yeah, and she lives in Brandon, which is a couple hours away. So it's not fair that, she's not here so we can celebrate. Maybe she's hanging out with Dog Boy tonight, maybe. Whoops, it's this guy. It's this friend of hers.
Uh-huh. Well, her response was you didn't.
I didn't what?
You didn't mention Dog Boy.
Okay, so let's I'll do a couple different variations. What I'm gonna do is, okay, let's start off with the one that I had before. So it's sort of like these are dried banana chips.
Okay.
And what I've done is I've added some breadcrumbs. So it's basically, I can do a recipe on this later, but 1 cup of banana chips in a food processor, and then half a cup of breadcrumbs, because you don't want it too sweet. So fish doesn't really marry well with a lot of sweetness. And then I'll just add a little bit because we're not making a lot. So parsley is really good. It adds a nice sort of floral, kind of taste. And you can add some Parmesan cheese. So it's really important that you always season your fish. So this is going to be seasoned lightly as well, but it's always the seasoning that touches the fish is really, really important.
I'm taken back by the banana chips. I mean, who doesn't love banana chips unless you don't love bananas? I would never have thought to put them with any kind of fish. This is wow.
It's crazy. So you can have it, sort of like a light, sort of breading like this that you can sprinkle on. Or what you can do, if you want a little bit more moisture, you can add some olive oil, to it.
Okay.
And if you want, I do have the jalapeno, the pickled jalapeno, that I could use. Where am I?
Yeah,
I can use that. I can even use the juice, from the jalapenos. It's just going to add a little bit of heat and a little bit of sweet.
That's brilliant.
That's kind of the consistency there, kind of like a crumbly kind of mixture. And then you can take it and then just sort of lightly kind of sprinkle it on top. I did a year ago, last January, it was a dish in Outdoor Canada. It was a pita chip crusted walleye, and it was kind of the same thing. Those dried pita chips?
Yep.
And again, it was something that I found in the pantry, and God love my wife, Sandy. She always has interesting things in the pantry for me to cook with, and that's how I created the dish. Garlic, olive oil, pita chips, and you put it onto a walleye fillet, and then you just sort of bake it in the oven. So you got a crispy, salty garlic kind of coating, on a nice, delicate fish, and it's pretty tasty.
So just to recap where we're at right now, just in case anybody wants to follow up. So this is trout. You have trout here on the parchment paper, right? That's parchment paper?
Yeah.
Okay, so parchment paper, some trout. You season it with a little salt and pepper, I'm assuming?
Yep.
Okay, then you put together some banana chips and just some regular crackers.
Yep. It was a breadcrumb.
Breadcrumbs. Okay, then you managed to put a little bit of olive oil just to give it a little bit of I don't know, paste kind of texture so that you could present it on top of the fillet. But you could also, because I love this idea, the juice from jalapenos like that, man. Oh, this is so simple, yet my mouth's already watering.
Okay, so then let's do the jalapeno. This is just for you.
Look at this is brilliant, man. Oh, who doesn't like that?
Oh, it smells good. Okay, it's kind of the same texture. So you kind of got like a pickly, salty, kind of taste there. So it's kind of the same thing.
Wow.
See how that just everything just changed right there.
Wow.
I could put a little bit more moisture in here to make it a little bit more crumbly, but I'm going to get this into the oven right away.
Okay, so you've preheated the oven while you're doing this to what, 350?
350.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's already 7:30.
Brad, dude, I'm with you, man. I need a lot of this in my life. This is so straightforward, and this is what I love about Cameron is he takes the time to explain it. He gives you options. It's not like you got to do it like this. These are some of the variations that you can make. He just, changed it up on the fly with the jalapeno juice. He doesn't like that pickling juice jalapenos are in. Oh, dear Lord.
Okay, let's do another one. So let's do it's called a tapenade. So a tapenade is, you can have like mostly black olive. You can have garlic. You can have red onion, olive oil. So it's kind of like a very earthy, kind of a Mediterranean, kind of presentation. Grab another piece of fish here. So I just cut, these are about like a 4 ounce, roughly. And I do have the skin on.
Okay.
Because you don't need to take the skin off. Let me do another one here.
Now, is there any particular trout that you would use and not use in a situation like this, or any char is good?
I would say like if someone were to keep like a trout that's maybe a little bit older and the skin is tougher, but all char trouts they don't have the scales, so pan fry it really, really nice and crispy, and then flip it over and you score the skin and flip it over and you've got that really nice, delicious, crispy skin.
It's hard for me to imagine cooking trout without the skin, and I know some people maybe not like the texture of it, but it's almost like someone that may not like the crust on bread. I can't imagine not charring a good steak to have that crust layer on the outside. But does the skin also lock in the flavor of the meat?
Does it lock in the flavor? Not necessarily, but if you crisp it and you caramelize that skin, like. It's called a new umami flavor. And when that umami, that crispy skin touches your tongue, like the flavors explode. And if you compare that to like a poached fish, it just kind of, you taste it. Yeah, okay, it's fish, but versus like on the barbecue or a nice hot pan, it's all about the caramelization is important. Okay. So let's make a tapenade. We're going to do some red pepper. And I got some red onion. Is that out of focus?
No, that's good. That's good.
It's just me. Gotta be careful with red onions sometimes, white onions. Sometimes it'll just be like so dominant. Chopped garlic, like 1 teaspoon. So that'd be like a half a red pepper. That would be 1/8 of a red onion. And then this is chopped Serranola olives. It's really tasty. So again, you kind of got like this, salty. With the olives, don't season it too much. And black pepper, olive oil. You can add parsley. You can add basil, oregano. I'll add a little bit of seasoning in here. You know what I hate is watching myself on video.
Okay, well, you know what? We'll focus on the food if that's okay.
When I watched that video after, this is like a little Cajun seasoning. You can do with that. You find that you say the same word over and over, and yeah, I hate that. Okay, olive oil. Did I put olive oil in? I did. I'm gonna put a little bit more. You know what'd be really cool in this?
A wine? Oh, okay, yeah.
Almonds.
Mm-hmm.
We got toasted almonds. These are like slivered almonds. So again, I talk about, I think every show is like the marriage of flavors is really important. Let's put some parsley in there for color. So you got sort of a nutty, sort of a salty, briny. So if you take a look at that.
Oh, it's hard to look at that. Holy, that's incredible.
So you can put like sun-dried tomatoes in here, like black olives. Would be really nice. Again, kosher salt is really good. Never use a table salt like an iodized salt. It's terrible. It's so harsh. I think I've got literally about 18 different kinds of salt in there, and it's amazing what Winter sells, in Home Sense, all the little containers.
Yeah.
And if we wanted to have like a smoked flavor.
Yeah. Who knew there were that many salts? Yes, great question, Terry. A little off topic. When you smoke trout, do you leave the skin on the trout or skinless? That is to preference. I will say if for myself, when I smoke trout, I like to have the skin off. But if I was pan searing my meat, my trout, like Cameron's going to be doing, I would definitely leave the skin on. And Richard is asking, would you wash the skin with just water? I would assume, Cameron, right?
Actually, no. If you're going to be pan frying it, the drier the better. So always, you can salt it and then put it on paper towels to pull out excess moisture. And then score the skin, and then when you sear it, a really nice hot pan, and it actually the salt in the paper towel pulls out the excess moisture, and then you get a crispier skin.
Wow!
And actually, with smoked trout, if you leave the skin on, it'll always stick. How's that? It'll always stick in the smoker, so I like leaving the skin on, actually. So then when you take it out, a lot of times the skin will stay behind, but it won't damage the flesh itself, the meat.
Right.
Okay, that looks kind of good.
Looks kind of good.
And then if you want to get super crazy here, we can go like this, and then we can stuff it.
A fish taco.
And then maybe let's take a couple pieces of asparagus. You can do it like that. Actually, my latest recipe that I did in Outdoor Canada was a walleye princess. And it just came out, I think, last week. And so a walleye fillet, and you separate the belly from the top loin. And then you actually butterfly the top loin so it's a little bit wider. And then you lay the cut belly piece next to it, just slightly overlap it. And I put provolone cheese, roasted red pepper, and asparagus. and then rolled it up, wrapped it once in bacon, and then baked it in the oven, sort of with a sort of like a tomato relish, and it was pretty good.
I had no idea you were going to do these many recipes. I hope everybody's writing this down. You're definitely going to want to go back and watch this again because you're like absolutely hitting it out of the park tonight, Cameron. Holy jumping.
This is all on the fly.
Yeah, for you, it's on the fly. Holy cow.
You know why? Brennan is right there, and he hasn't eaten yet. And,
I got it. Okay.
So he's probably hungry, and I haven't eaten yet. I think I had 6 Ritz crackers when I got home. So this will be supper.
Well, Brennan and the entire Tait family, thanks so much for your sacrifice for our community. We truly appreciate it, and we hope you don't go hungry the rest of the week.
Oh, there's another shot.
There's the man. Yeah, baby.
That wasn't too awkward. That's okay.
No.
Okay, I'm going to show you how to make a really quick sort of a mango salsa.
Wow. Okay.
Or do you want to do it like this?
No. Oh yeah, do it like that. That's good. Perfect.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got some frozen mango, about 1 cup. And I know we've got a few repetitious ingredients, but I like some red pepper. I like it to sort of like jump a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's got to look appealing to the eye. Again, I'll put a little bit of parsley in there. Orange juice goes really well in here. You can put a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of seasoning. You can put a little spice. Actually, red chilies goes really good with this.
Jump.
And remember, when you open it, you open that end, not that end.
Yeah. That's a different show.
Yeah, I've learned. Okay, and then what else? Yeah, you can add. Let's just add a little bit more garlic in there, and this mini chop, I love it. It's good for like really small ingredients, small dishes, not ingredients, small little things. A little lemon in there, and so we'll just sort of blitz this. You don't want it to be pureed. You want it to be a little bit chunky. Okay. So the hard part after this is, for me to actually take a few pictures, maybe for just fishing for Big Jim, before I eat it. Before Brennan eats it.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's going to be a toss-up. Who's going to get at it first? Now, Jeanette is asking, a splash of coconut milk. Would you put in something like that?
That would be interesting, actually. Coconut milk. Totally. Coconut, mangoes. You see, the really cool thing about cooking is that it's not like science. It's not like architecture. It's not like you're a doctor, or there's a lot of different things that you can do to cook with what you have, what inspires you, and just sort of have fun with it. I've got one more here. I've got one more fillet. So I'll show you how to butterfly this. Got that?
Yeah.
So if you go like this, and then you cut basically to one end, and then you can open it up, and always season the inside. And this is kind of like what I did with the Outdoor Canada. What else can I put in here? Let's do the tapenade again.
Why not? Holy smokes.
Tapenade with the toasted almonds. And this is a really good example of how to do that. take this, fold it over, and if you do it right, your presentation side is up like that. And then your seam is down below. We're not going to have enough time to cook that one, but that one's pretty good. I like
That is amazing. Wow.
So with this, I'll grab a plate here.
Yeah, Mike, I'm getting hungry too. Absolutely. There are four. You've shared 4 different variations to a very simple recipe using pretty much the same ingredients, and the presentation makes it look completely unique from one another.
Okay, so I would say that's about 5 minutes away. So we can serve one with a little bit of salad. And you'll find that, very few really of my dishes, like I deep fry things. I like things to be healthy. Do I eat healthy every time? God, no. But this is a good way to, sort of minimize, your grease intake. And even when we go fishing, whether it is in the summer or winter, if we're doing a shore lunch, very, very seldom I'll actually deep fry, something. So because, after lunch, in the summertime, there's a solid 10 more hours, that you can fish.
Yeah.
And I don't like to be like lethargic and really, how should I say it?
Falling asleep.
Yeah, you're falling asleep, if you ingest too much oil. So
now, a lot of the ingredients that you're using here, I wouldn't say necessarily would be a cleanse, but you're kind of detoxifying yourself too by adding that kind of cleanser to the palate, to the system.
It's tomatoes are very healthy for you. Obviously, lettuce. There's certain power, vegetables, power fruits that are really good for you. The Mediterranean diet is one of the healthiest diets in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason why they have one of the highest rates of, what's the right word?
Heart disease.
Longevity.
Yeah.
Than anyone in the world. And I think the United States has one of the poorest diets, and maybe Canada's maybe a little bit better.
Yeah.
But so I'll do this one dish here, this nice salad. So nice. These are sort of like a seasonal heirloom tomatoes. Really nice color. And then I'll just put a fish right on top of that or next to that. And you can do like a nice balsamic reduction.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking of, balsamic vinegar with this. Yeah.
I can never get this.
You're there. Yeah.
So this is a really quick story. There was a time that my wife made this one pork tenderloin dish, and I tasted like, this is the best thing I've ever had in my life. And I said, what did you use? And she goes, yeah, I just used like balsamic vinegar. I'm like, did you use the one in like the really little, jar, the one that was 25-year-old aged balsamic? Yeah, I think that I got to get it out of the garbage can because I used it all. And it was absolutely delicious. And balsamic goes well with fish.
Here they come. Wow.
So this one, like I said, that one's got the jalapeno on there. This one here has, the plantain crust. I kind of like this one a little bit better. It has a nicer.
Yep. Nice texture, nice color. Yeah, I agree.
Again, I should have put a little bit more of the juice in that one. But seeing how we're time sensitive here.
Well, we don't want Brennan to start chasing the dog.
I'll so then you can take this one here and put that over top.
Oh man.
And serve it with a nice lemon wedge. So that's one. Where do you want it?
Brilliant. Yeah. I'll bring it over. Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah.
Okay, so that's one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at the other ones. Okay, so then, even though I don't like that crust, so now I got a mashed potato that we're gonna serve. And I made this mashed potato just because we were going to have it after.
I don't know. I know Madison's only a few, an hour away, you said?
That would be awesome because then she can come and help do dishes.
You know what? That line might be outside the house and around the corner. If we had our way, we'd all be on a bus right about now and heading over to the Tait's place.
So we'll put some, where do you want? Right here?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, we'll do that. We can add, a little red pepper. Again, you don't have to be fancy like this, you want to wow your family or your spouse or whatever. Or you can dress it up a little bit more. And so just let that drop down a little bit here. And that's really good in food shots when it drops down, sort of like that it's not perfect.
Jeez. Fox fishing, that is trout. That is lake trout right there. Oh. Wow.
So I just put some asparagus in there, for color. So some people say, well, rice only goes with fish, but you can do mashed potatoes 1,000 different ways. And then if you want, you can take a little bit of this. It is a nice salt flake.
Okay.
And sprinkle it on top. It's kind of like a nice kind of crunch that it has. It's always nice when you take that first bite and you get that salt just on the tip of your tongue. So you have salt, and then you have sweet, and then sour, and then bitter on the back part of your tongue. So there's 4 different places that you actually taste things.
Didn't know that. Who am I the only one that didn't know that? I thought everything was through the tongue.
Okay. If you what else do you want to talk about for 3 minutes?
I'm like, I can't. My tongue is 3 times its size. I got drool everywhere. How I would say is in a situation like this, depending on, of course, certain palates, because we have had people that have said things about maybe they're not nut lovers, but at the end of the day, when it comes to a generic way to put something like this together, a lot of what you have shown us gives us a variation to make sure that you are including everybody's palate, that you're not excluding anybody. But I don't even know where to start, to be honest with you. This is dumbfounding. I had no idea, guys, that we were going to be doing this many variations of one dish. But how to Cameron, and thanks, Brendan, for waiting.
As of this afternoon, I didn't know I was going to do all this as well either, but just have fun with it. Okay, so you can even take the little bit of this leftover tapenade, and we'll put the fish on that one. And let's put a little bit of salad on here. So I've got to take at least a couple pictures of this.
100%.
Because I think this would be good to sort of tie this in, with, the people that have watched this, and then also for it to be in Just Fishing. I've already planned my dishes of Outdoor Canada right till the end of the year, and I do that in September for all of the following year. So, okay, let's take a look at the last
Terry,
one.
I'm with you, dude. That's actually a great point. And the fact that, in a lot of cases when it comes to lake trout, they're not really necessarily sought after for their table fare. But if you're in a northern lake, those cold northern lakes in Ontario, Manitoba, Quebec, you now have an option that, we're not just having deep fried fish. This is an easy and quick variation and not a lot of bags that you're gonna have to carry home from the grocery store to do it.
I might have a few other ingredients, maybe say that some other people don't have in their fridge, but this is just to show that you can put something that's pretty darn healthy. It's not deep fried. I think that might be our last one.
Delicious.
So sort of the tapenade, let's call it a green olive almond tapenade with the stuffed trout, with the asparagus, a little tossed salad on there. And let's give we'll do that. And the other one, this one's just about done, but I think this is good.
That's fantastic. And I have to ask, because I'm sure that others have the same questions. Is there a fish that you couldn't do this with, Cameron?
Carp.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yes.
Catfish. It totally depends where you get your catfish.
Well,
catfish.
I was going to ask about catfish. Like, I don't know if something like this would appeal to someone that eats catfish, but
you know what?
Sucker, yeah.
Catfish in the Red River. It's a very muddied river. They eat the garbage off the bottom of the river. But more southern states, they've got unbelievable farmed catfish. It just depends on how hungry you are and how much you want to mask the flavor of everything. If you put, mask it with soy and ginger, lemongrass and chilies, you're not going to taste anything. You're not going to taste the mud, in the fish. But I've never made a carp recipe, and I probably never will. Catfish, I have done, but maybe not sturgeon. I don't think that would be frowned.
No, and drum. Paulette is saying drum. Although I don't know, it's a white flesh meat. It might work. I don't know.
Maybe Paulette. Maybe the next time that her and I are out fishing, maybe we'll catch a drum, and then I always say the recipe that of the rock in the drum. You ever heard that one?
No, I have not.
So you take your drum, and then you clean it up, and then you cut off the bloodline, and then you cut it into fillets, and you put it in a really hot pan. You sear it in salt and pepper, and then flip it over, and then you take the rock, and then you put it in the fry pan. And when the fish is done, you throw it out, and then you eat the rock.
Okay, who taught you that? Big Jim?
That might have been a Gord Pizer joke. I can't remember. I don't know.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's funny stuff. Well done, Gord. Well played. Well, all I could say, Cameron, is I got to go dry off. I know Brennan's starving. I know the whole family's looking to eat. I bet you at this point the dog's probably starving.
The dogs are fed.
Oh, that's good. That's probably a good thing.
That's the priority, that the dogs get fed first.
Now that's the link, of course, that if you want to find out more about the one variation to the recipe, this video allows you to be creative, use your imagination, and with everything that you've added to what could be a variation to this recipe, Cameron, I can't thank you enough on behalf of our entire community. This has been fantastic.
It's been too long. It's been what, 4 months,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's been very, very busy. And but we said, I think 2 weeks ago, enough is enough, and let's plan it and book it. And so I'm glad that we did it. And I'm planning my next dish for Outdoor Canada. It's a perch dish, and it is. I'm not going to spoil it. It's the epitome of a comfort dish, and it's super simple. It's a one pot dish. I can't give another hint, otherwise I'll give it away.
No, by all means. But what I was wondering is if we could have you on as seasons open, like for instance, as you said, perch. That's a great start. Perhaps once walleye is then open, perhaps there's another fish out your way that opens, or we could celebrate salmon. I'm not sure how we could separate this, or at least put some interesting time between this event and the next one. But as season opens up, I'm sure there's always folks out there that are looking for different ways to cook it and prepare it, and in your case, kill it, just like out of the park, kill it.
Yeah, the one other fish that I've never cooked is a smallmouth bass, so that probably never will. There's one person that posted like, hey, what should I do? How should I cook this smallmouth bass? And I was like, oh, this is going to be good. And I looked, there was like 65 comments. Thanks, Steve.
Wow.
It was pretty hilarious, but yeah, there's some fish like that are absolutely off the table, because it's just one of those things. It's like filleting a really nice 60-inch sturgeon, and
no. So I would say, yeah, to commemorate our good buddy Big Jim Just Fishing and his induction to the Hall of Fame, on his behalf and in his honor, maybe a bluegill dish.
That would be nice,
Yeah.
David. That's if I can. I don't even know if we have any bluegill. Oh well, yeah, but we've got a place that's close to us. But then we fished there last summer, and I think we caught about 100. But they were.
I remember that. Yes,
we were in those little belly boats, and it's a pretty sweet find, But Brennan says that there's big ones there, so maybe we'll find them and hop in the belly boat and get a dish for Big Jim.
Right on. Well, in the meantime, have a look at what Cameron has created this evening. We can't thank you enough on behalf of our community for doing this, taking the time and showing us just how easy it can be. Whether you go to the extreme that Cameron's done with this kind of presentation, or you just slop it down on a tinfoil plate. Needless to say, it all works, it all tastes good, and it's all easy enough to do. Cameron, buddy, you have yourself a great week, and until we see you next time, thanks so much for all you do, my friend.
Thank you. Have a great night.
All the best.